Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile, Philly kid. You want to share it up, Philly kid, before we go?
Let me do that right now.
Before we hit the intro. What's up, everybody? We'll let everybody load up, light it up. Suki and Scott show back on the air. We got an amazing show for everybody tonight. Let's get everybody in. Philly kid, share it up. What's going on, Philip Paz?
Not too much. Actually, I had kind of a day off today. My son went back to California. I didn't have any grandkids today, so the wife and I are just kind of doing our own thing. I've been hanging out in my in my man cave. She's in there doing her quilting, and so
beautiful.
You know, life's good.
I love it, Philly kid. Well, listen, you know, Suki's off tonight. She's on assignment doing her thing for TLC. She's got her Sister Wives shooting this week that comes up on TLC and Discovery and all that good stuff. So Philly kid in the hot seat tonight and tomorrow. And man, Phil, I got to tell you, man, I am excited about tonight's show. I'm going to tell you all about it. Jack O'Halloran is here. Just a legendary actor. And listen, if you don't know Jack O'Halloran by name, you're going to know him the minute I put him up on that screen.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor Hughes is coming up later on. She's a sensational pop country singer. So we got the nostalgia with Jack tonight. We got the new stuff with Taylor Hughes. You're in the driver's seat. We got a couple things we got to talk about. And you ready to rock and roll? We start the show?
Let's do it. Hit it.
Here we go, baby. 3, 2, and 1.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott. That's 7 of hearts. Woo! Exactly. This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Kate Pierce. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu. Is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
Really?
Your intro is fantastic.
I want to rock and roll all night. Every time Eric Roberts comes on, I forget he's coming on at the end of that. And I'm always ready to pop back on before Eric Roberts comes on. Eric Roberts, my main man. What a great guy. Love having Eric on. Philly kid. Suki is off tonight. She's out on assignment somewhere in the middle of this country shooting Sister Wives reunions for Discovery and TLC. It's you and me, baby. You and me. What's going on? The summer is over. Here we are. It's 2.5 years since we started this thing. Since you were first a guest on this show, right? We heard about you.
Yeah.
Jeannie Clay, I believe, told us about you. Got you on the show. Next thing you know, you're moving in with me. You're living in my basement. So it's
I know, man. I know it. Hey, listen. First, let me say I know everybody is missing Suki. But hey, she's working. She's got an awesome gig going on right now, so she will be back. But I just want to say a big shout out and congrats to Suki on the project she's working on. So yes,
it's like once, twice a year they do all these reunion shows, Sister Wives, and what's the other one on that show they do with the
something about dating? What's the
no? She did that dating show. But there's what's the other popular not Sister Wives, is the other popular show on TLC. Damn it. I just lost the name of it. Somebody, one of our viewers will come up with it. They'll tell me it's the other one. I feel like
Wives.
Something. No, that's Sister Wives, but I feel like there's another 90 Day Fiance. That's it.
90
She
Day
does a
Fiance.
90-day fiance stuff. But so yes, so Suk will be back. But anyway, Philly Kid, we have. I am so excited about this show tonight.
Yeah.
You know, when we have guys like Jack O'Halloran on the show, I mean, former boxer, I mean, actor extraordinaire. He was in Superman 1 and 2, Dragnet. He was in a movie with Robert Mitchum we're going to talk about. I mean, the guy was in so many things. King Kong. And I mean, you know, just when you see him appearing in all these, you're like, oh my God, that's right. But I mean, he got to carry Jessica Lange onto the ship in King Kong, Philly Kid. I got to ask him about that. But so Jack's going to be here, and then Taylor Hughes, who was just an up and coming young country superstar, she's coming up later on. But listen, I got to ask you a question. Listen, there's something that's very enlightening for me, and I think you're going to be excited about this because I have a new way for you and I to make money. You ready for this?
I'm open for it. Yeah.
$10,000 a month, Philly Kid. Here you go. Okay. So I just found this before. This guy's a male escort. My hot dad bod makes me $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month. Samuel Hunter. He's an Australian gigolo. 10 grand a month. He's based out of Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
And here's what it says. I'm going to read you the article. He's in his early 40s. He sleeps with up to 7 women a month. 7 women a month, ranging from 23 to 70 years old, Philly Kid.
Wow.
23 to 70. He says, most of my clients are repeats. At any time, I have between 3 and 10 regulars. The only ones who aren't are couples who just want to try something as a one-off. So God bless him. Samuel Hunter. You know, it's funny. This guy's picture looks like all the pictures that the scammers use when they come on and they're looking to match up with all the women who watch the show. And I'm a widow, I'm a divorcee, I'm a captain in the. They all look like that guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, we could have a theme song that goes something like, "I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling each romance. Oh, I'm just a gigolo." I think we can make it work, Scotty. Now, I might wake up with a frying pan, you know, crushed against my skull from my wife, but you know.
Listen, for 10 grand a month, I think she'd let you do it. What the hell? That's a bigger pool out back. I can tell you that.
You never know. You never know.
Listen, Philly Kid, this is where we are right now. This is all our streaming platforms. Suki and Scott show all over the place. Millions of households, Philly Kid. The one up on top in the red, Tubi, starts later this month. And that's Tubi's one of the big ones, kind of like Netflix.
Yeah.
Couple of TV stations in there, and we are flying, my friend. The show is flying. We're all over the place, and it's just a beautiful thing.
You know, that graphic that you just put up is, you know, again, it is just a testament to the worldwide phenomena known as the Suki and Scott show. You know, really? and it's totally, you know, due to the fact that you know, Scotty, the hard work that you put in every single day. The 7-time Emmy-winning host, Scott, as well as Suki, she also has 7 Emmys. It's just a testament to the hard work that the Emmy award-winning Suki and Scott do each and every day behind the scenes.
Philly, stop shoveling, would you? Come on. You got the job. You don't need to. Anyway, Philly Kid, listen, Jack O'Halloran is here. Very busy man. I want to keep him waiting. Actor, former boxer in his day. We got to talk to him about that. And Philly Kid, I read, and we got to ask him about this, that he turned down the role of Jaws in A Spy Who Loved Me. I think Spy Who Loved Me. Yeah,
James
Spy
Bond,
Who Loved Me, James Bond. That went to Richard Kiel.
Yeah.
If you remember Jaws with the braces, Jack was offered that gig, and I read he turned it down. So we got to confirm it, and then we got to ask him why the hell he turned it down. Lots to talk about with Jack. He's got a book out called Family Legacy, which is so interesting. Here's a little bit of Jack O'Halloran, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a fan of the movie Superman 1 and 2, you're going to recognize Jack right off the bat. Here's Jack O'Halloran. We bring him in on the other side. Take a look. Irish Jack, how are you, buddy?
Doing the best I can, whatever they'll let me get away with.
And that was you fighting George Foreman in that clip, wasn't it?
Yeah. It sure
Wow.
was. Do you see the jaw on that guy, Phil? I mean, Jack, you come on, man. The women must have been all over you back in the day, no?
Still are, probably.
Jack, listen, man, there's so much to talk to you about. Just a legendary career. You started out. I have to ask you a question because I heard that you had started out before boxing. Your family was kind of in like the lending business, and you were like the finance. Were you the finance collection guy, Jack?
My father was probably the most powerful don that ever came in the country, Albert Anastasia.
Yeah, he supposedly. Wait, you were his illegitimate son, Albert Anastasia?
Yeah, well, in 1943, Albert was in the Army out in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And he got Pennsylvania, and he was teaching. He was a sergeant, teaching soldiers how to be longshoremen. But he never spent a day at the camp. He was in Philadelphia every night. And my mother made Jane Russell look like a boy. So they ensued, and my stepfather was overseas. He was a navigator in World War II. And an affair ensued, and I was the product of it. And I was born in 1943.
Wow.
And
Albert Anastasia.
Albert went back up to New York, and he put a minder next to me, an Irish guy named Rip Collins, whose brother was the famous Collins guy in the IRA. And Rip was an engineer at General Electric, but he ran the IRA on the waterfront down in Philly. And my father controlled all the waterfronts in America at the time.
Oh, my God.
So
Wow.
when you do The Godfather, and they went to Brando for dealing drugs, and Brando said no, and he said, if we touch it, our children will touch it, and it'll be the end of the families. My father said that. My father wouldn't go in the drug business. Thought it was a foolish thing for them to do.
Wow.
And in 1957, they assassinated him because he was blocking them from doing what they wanted to do. Genovese wanted the drug business, and Albert, he just refused to do it.
That is why. Yeah, they got him. Was it like in a barber shop in New York City or something or other?
It was the most notorious hit in the history. They shot him in a barber shop in the Sheraton Hotel.
Oh my
Wow.
God! And you have this book out, Family Legacy, which is based on his life and you growing up.
Well, it's based on my life growing up, and
it's
based on, and I tell the truth about a lot of things that happened in the country. Tell the truth about the Kennedy assassination. I tell the truth about a lot of things that people have wanted to know for a long time. And there's just so much liberties taken about what really happens in our country and what really happens with the families, and how things turned around and why they turned around. And it's time that people were told the truth.
Wow. Wait, Jack. So listen, I'm a Kennedy assassination nut. What's the truth about the Kennedy assassination? Was it Lee Harvey didn't do that by himself?
If you were going to, Lee Harvey Oswald was only a pawn.
Yes,
he didn't do anything. He wasn't even in the building in actuality. You're talking about, if you wanted to blame somebody for Jack Kennedy's death, gotta look at his father. His father made enemies of everybody, and it goes back to the Prohibition era, and he and his brother, Bobby, never went down there before, wasn't there during, and didn't go before. And right before Kennedy went down there, 4 people went to see him, one of them being Adelaide Stevenson, saying, do not let your brother go to Texas. The animosity is terrible. Not a good idea for having him down there in an open car. And he, like I said, Bobby didn't go. And Bobby was his brother's second skin everywhere he went in his career.
Wow.
But he didn't go down before, wasn't there during. They knew he was going to die, but he was dying Jack wasn't going to live out his term. He was dying of Addison's disease. His back was deteriorating. He had syphilis and 2 other diseases. They used to shoot him up every day for pain, and here he is in an open car, and the Dealey Plaza thing took him 4 months to reroute that route to get it to go down Dealey Plaza. And if you were going to kill Kennedy from the Byrd building, the window, you would have shot him as the car came towards before it made the turn to go down Dealey Plaza, because it was face on to the building. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, you're talking about a bolt action mail order rifle. Now, anybody that's ever shot a gun in his life will tell you that if you're going to take a shot of almost 1,000 yards and you have all the elements that you had at Dealey Plaza, the wind was so bad that the motorcycle cops, none of their microphones worked because the wind was that bad.
Right.
So an automobile moving on a decline, you got trees, you have signs, you have a lot of elements to take into account. Now, if I'm going to make a shot with a rifle, first of all, I have to take my heartbeat down to 60 because your pulse is in your finger, right? Now, and they're saying that they took 4 shots in 28 seconds with that rifle. That's malarkey. With any accuracy, forget about it. So, and how do you explain the fact that Jack's head came out the back and the Dealey Plaza of the Byrd building was behind him?
Right,
so
right.
The guy who took the hit, he got shot 3. Hold on a second. Sharon. My dog's right behind me is the bay. The Tampa Bay is gorgeous.
I know you got a beautiful view out there, Jack.
So the thing is that you're talking about he got shot 3 times and they never disclosed that for 10 years on each one of the shots. He got shot first in the throat, and that came from a cauldron in the side of the street by Johnny Mazzelli, who took that shot. And the cauldron went from the river to the street, and it was big enough for me, 6'6", to walk down that cauldron. That's how big it was. Jesus. Then the second shot hit him in his lower back. Third shot came from the driver of the car, Greer, who admitted on his deathbed that he did that. The third shot, the car, instead of it speeding up and taking off, it slowed down below 11 miles an hour, veered over to the left, cut off the motorcycle guy, and Greer turned and took the last shot that hit him right here and blew the back of his head out.
Wait, the driver of the car?
Greer.
Shot Kennedy? And how wouldn't I've never seen that on film?
Well, that's not true, because if you see the full version of the Zapruder film, and the Zapruder film is a trip. Zapruder himself, him and his partner came from Russia into New York, and Meyer Lansky financed them to go down to Texas to start the garment industry. They were involved in the garment industry in New York. They went to Texas, and his partner, when they were in New York, was engaged to Jackie Kennedy's aunt. She used to call him Uncle, what's his name, DeMornchild. He was, boom. So then they go down to Texas, and Zapruder never held a camera in his hand in his life. And he was stood up high, and he suffered from vertigo. 3 women were holding him by the legs, and he never took his finger off the button for 28 seconds while he shot that footage while bullets were flying all around him. 13 shots were fired that day, okay? So they turn around and they say, okay, the original Zapruder film was bought by an outfit, Life magazine out of Chicago, for $150,000 before it was ever shot. And no one saw it for a year. And the original was done in Murchison's laboratory in Dallas. They took 8 frames out of it.
Wow.
And the 8 frames have been put by. I have the original. I have it with all the frames. And the 8 frames show the driver turning and taking the shot. Shows him doing it.
That's unbelievable.
You understand? So all the bull that people throw around And the whole orchestration of Dealey Plaza was blamed on the CIA, it was blamed on the mafia, it was blamed on the Teamsters. They blamed everybody but the person who really put it together. And it was put together by a guy called the Jackal from Europe, Carlos Sanchez. He was the first job he ever did in America. He orchestrated, he was the guy with the umbrella at Dealey Plaza.
Oh, God.
I was there the night before at Clint Murchison Jr.'s house, and the 4 presidents were there, and McCoy, I spent time with McCoy, who was the head of the banking, and I went there on the premise that I was going to play for the Dallas Cowboys because I played faux football before I boxed.
Right.
And Meyer Lansky arranged for me to go to that party to learn and to watch what was going on. Okay? So when Johnson came back from Fort Worth after Kennedy had arrived, it was like 12:30 at night. They all went into a room, and I left the party. Somebody told me it was time to go. And the next day I was out running, and I was doing road work, and John Roselli was out there. And he said to me, "Geez, what are you still doing? You're supposed to be out of town." And I just said, "Yeah, well, I'm just going to hang around for a day." And you know, I knew John pretty well. And so you're talking about a whole scenario of things that every 10 years they come out with more and more information.
Yeah.
Now, they just come out with a whole documentary thing on television about the bullet holes in Kennedy.
Right.
How they cut his throat, saying it was they were trying to do something and they messed it up, so they covered up the bullet hole where he got shot. And when you see the Zapruder film, first thing you see him do is grab his throat and fall forward. Well, Connolly got shot first, so Connolly fell. Jack fell on top of Connolly in between the seats of the driver and the next to him. All the security agents, you can watch the Zapruder film, they peeled away from the car before the bullets started, and they had to run back up to the car after the shots were fired.
That's right.
And when Jackie was coming out the back, and they said she was trying to scrape Jack's brains up, that's bullshit. She came out, she was trying to get out of the car because she thought she was going to get shot next.
Wow.
And the Secret Service guy grabbed her and pulled her down and said, whispered in her ear, "If you mention one thing about what you just seen, your kids are dead."
Wow.
And she never said a word.
That's
And she
unbelievable.
wrote a diary. And she kept a very rigid diary that her son, John Jr., he owned G Magazine.
Sure.
He was going to go to Hollywood and make a movie out of his mother's diary. He got a hold of it after she died. And he got killed in the plane thing. Plane was fixed. He shouldn't have been flying the plane in the first place.
Oh,
He wasn't
boy.
qualified to fly an instrument plane. He was high on coke. They were 2
Jesus.
hours late getting to the airport. They should have never been allowed to take off.
Wow, that's going to be one heck of a book. I've already got mine, or I'm fixing to order it, but that is going to be one heck of a read.
Yeah, Jack.
I want to tell all our viewers, order that book because it's going to be a good one. But
Unbelievable.
What we're going to do is do a miniseries. We had too much information. I got 2 more books coming out, and there's too much information for a movie. So we're going to do a miniseries that'll turn into a series. And
Nice.
a lot of people stepping up and saying, you know what? Let's start telling the truth about a few things around the country.
That is crazy.
Well,
Jack.
that's what we need.
You have to go back to the very beginning. In New York, when they all came over, they were into gambling, loan sharking. That's how they made their money.
Yeah.
And they had a great relationship with law and order. Everybody watched each other's back. Nothing changed until the drug business started. Before that, everybody was into everybody's business, watching everybody, and they forgot how to make money. They got into women and babanya, which is drugs.
So when your dad was in that business before he was killed, and when you were growing up, was there ever any thought to you going into that sort of life, or did he steer you away from it, or how did that work?
Well, he died when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And Meyer Lansky and Frank Costello took me in hand to keep me from getting into any kind of serious trouble. I met him right before he died, and I was supposed to go up to New York and sit down with him. and he was killed that week.
Mm.
And
This
but his lawyer gave my mother. My mother had a book. I have 256 pages that Albert dictated to his lawyer that left me, telling me everything that went on all the way up to his death.
Unreal.
So you,
Jack,
Nice.
listen, I got to get into some happy stuff with you because we only have so much time. I want to listen. That was amazing. That Kennedy story. But listen, I gotta ask you about Superman and everything. I mean, listen, you hold on. Let me pop up a little Superman. Here you are, right here in Superman. Everybody knows Nam the character. And what was that like for you in one of the biggest franchises, playing a guy who didn't even speak?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. You know, when Richard Donner, I was doing a movie called March or Die with Gene Hackman down in Spain. And they reached out to us to come to London to offer me the role of Non. And Donner sat down and said to me, well, what do you feel about playing a deaf mute guy? And I said, I relish it. He said, what? I said, I look forward to it. He said, well, why? I said, because Jackie Gleason was a friend of mine, and he won an Oscar doing a picture called Gigo, playing a deaf, dumb mute. I said, and if I ever had an opportunity to get a character where I could do it with facial and body language, I would do it automatically. And that Non was perfect because General Zod was a vicious general, and Sarah was a man-eater, and somebody had to relate to the kids because it was a children's movie, you know. So
Right.
I took this big brutish guy and I played him like a child, learning how to get his eyes and his powers and everything else, and it actually worked pretty well.
It did work out pretty well. Of course, you know, that's, you know, those Superman movies were, you know, kind of a part of my youth when I was growing up. And, you know, I was reading some stuff and I read that this may correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody said that you did not get along with Christopher Reeves and there may have been a physical confrontation of some sort.
Hey, you know what? People make such a big, you know, let me tell you something. When you work with people for 3 years and you don't have any kind of an argument at all, something's wrong. You understand? And Christopher was a very naive young man, all right? And when we were doing the film, I had friends of mine that owned a restaurant on Beecham Place, the San Lorenzo, and it was the first real Italian restaurant in London. And they were very dear friends of mine. And I lived in Cadogan Square, so I used to walk up and eat my dinner there every night. And I invited, you know, a lot of the cast and everybody used to go in there because it was a great restaurant. It became like a paparazzi place, okay? So Christopher's in there one night, and the owner of the restaurant called me on the phone. He said, Jack, how well do you know this Christopher Reeve kid? I said, you know, I work with him. I said, you know, he's a nice young kid. He said, well, he's in here shooting his mouth off, talking about you and your father and things in New York that I don't think you should be talking about. So the next morning I went to work and I grabbed him and I took him into a room and I said, you know, kid, how well do you know me? He said, well, I hear stories about you. I said, well, let me tell you a story of my own. Next time you mention my name somewhere, put sir in front of it and Mr. I said, because you ever talk about my father again and you won't be flying anymore. Trust me.
Boy.
So we had to finish the conversation. We walked out into the hall. And as soon as we got in the hall, he got like Superman. You can't talk to me that way. Who do you think you are? And he started raising his voice. And I turned around and I said, what? And the crowd started. So I grabbed him and threw him against the wall. And I was just about to whack him. And Richard Donner jumped up in my ear and said, wow, not in the face, Jack, not in the face. And that's what I did. I broke out laughing and I dropped him on the floor and I said, you know what, kid? You just got the greatest pass of your life. Have a good day. See you later.
Yeah, because listen, you're a big dude, Jack. You're 6'6". I mean, former boxer at the time. And you would have knocked him right out. That's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, he wasn't a bad kid. He didn't become a really nice person until he got hurt. You know, he was he was very naive, and it was the first role that he ever did.
Yeah.
Prior to that, he did a little soapbox and a play with Katharine Hepburn where he held a spear. He really didn't do anything. And Richard Donner, truth be told, when he came on the set, he was 170 pounds. And the guy that played Darth Vader, I think of his name, was a bodybuilder. And I said, if you're going to build him up, put 20 pounds and cut him, make him defined. Don't bulk him out, because he's got an ego and he wouldn't wear anything underneath of his shirt. And that's what happened. He put 20 pounds on. He looked terrific. But the performance that he did, and let me tell you, there'll never be another person that will do Clark Kent, Superman, as well as he did.
Yeah.
And that's Richard Donner. Richard Donner got that performance out of him. And what should have happened when they let Donner go and they were bringing Richard Lester on because they owed him a picture, and they brought Richard Lester on, that kid should have stood up, because I wasn't going to go back. Gene Hackman didn't go back. And he should have stood up and said, no Donner, no me. And Donner would have done, that's why, I don't know if you ever seen the Donner cut, much better than Superman. And Superman 2 is a pretty good movie, but the Donner cut's even better.
Yeah.
Because Richard had shot 86% of the movie.
Right.
He got so hung up doing 2 that Warner Brothers came to Salkind and said, hey, you got a date to give us Superman 1. And they had to stop shooting 2 and go back and finish 1. And Warner Brothers then turned around and said, well, maybe we don't pick up Superman 2. And Salkind said, oh, wow. He said, you mean I can bring in other investors and for distribution? And they said, yeah, no problem. Well, that was a mistake. They filled, and I was in the theater at Pinewood. They filled the theater up, and he showed them the fight scene over Metropolis with Superman and the 3 villains. They couldn't get the rubber bands off the money fast enough.
That is
in fact, they got an extra $5 million for Superman 1.
Oh,
wow.
God.
It was Superman was a great picture. We had a lot of fun doing it. Had great talent on it. I mean, Terrence Stamp is a brilliant actor. Sarah's a brilliant actress. Margot Kidder. I mean, even all the people that were in the very first one where the board were saying guilty, guilty, guilty. You had some of the finest English actors out there. Trevor Howard, Harry Andrews. They were the judges who were saying guilty, guilty, guilty. So we had a lot of fun.
So, hey, Jack, when you were a football player, you a boxer, you had 57 pro fights, and you were
actually I had 78.
78, okay. So, how did you go from that life into the acting business?
They came to me in 1966. I was starting boxing, and I went from Philadelphia to Boston. And Steve McQueen came in to do the Thomas Crown Affair. And McQueen was, he and I became very good friends. We looked after him, make sure nobody bothered him and stuff. And he said to me, oh, man, you got to come down, get on the set. I'll put you in the movie. We'll get your SAG card. You got to come back to Hollywood. We'll have a ball, man. Steve was a hell of a kid. And I said, I'm undefeated, man. I have a boxing career that's going pretty well. I don't think so. I think I'll pass. He said, wow, so that goes on. And then I knocked out Manuel Ramos, who was ranked number 2 in the world in LA.
Wow.
And I'm looking to fight Ali. And they offered me The Great White Hope with James Earl Jones, which was the biggest movie in Hollywood.
Yeah.
At the time. And the deal was set up with Eddie Ford III and Raymond Patriarca from Rhode Island. Told them, we want him to leave the country, to get him out of the country. They wanted me to get out of the country so we get in trouble. And when I sat down with the producer, the guy said, wow, he said, he thought I was just coming in to sign a piece of paper to go. And I said, I don't think so. He said, but this deal is supposed to be all put together, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to pay you $1,500 a week, which at that time was a lot of money, I guess. And I said, well, I give that away in tips, so you're really not paying me anything. And I left, and in '84, he said, oh, my God, you're going to get this inside. I said, I'll talk to Raymond. Don't worry about it. And so I went on. And then when I retired from boxing, they came to, I had an agent because I moved to California and I was California heavyweight champion. And I had an agent in San Diego and I did commercials for Royal Crown Coal and stuff. And they came to me to do Farewell, My Lovely with Mitchum. And my agent called me on the phone. She said, I think you should do this. So I met the director up in Hollywood, up in New York, Dick Richards. And he said, you're the guy. I went up. So I flew out to California. I did a screen test with Harry Dean Stanton. And Robert Mitchum said, it's either him or I don't do the movie. So I blame it all on Robert Mitchum.
Wow. Robert
Nice.
Mitchum. Wow.
Well, Farewell was a great film. If you've never seen it, you should. It's actually very well
I got to
made.
see that. Jack, listen, I said before you came on that, A Spy Who Loved Me, Richard Kiel got famous from playing Jaws in that movie, but you were offered that first and you turned it down.
They came over, they flew over to see me, the father and the son. And I was around the corner having lunch with Mitch. It was his birthday. And I was getting him stoked. And I said, I got to go back around the corner to Meyer Mishkin's office because these guys from London are over here. They want me to do this picture of Spy Who Loved Me.
Was that Broccoli, Albert Broccoli?
Broccoli and his son.
Yeah.
And so he said, you read the script? I said, yeah. He said, you like it? I said, no. He said, tell him to go to hell. So I said, well, I better, respectfully go around and talk to these guys. So I went around and talked to them, but I was already signed to do March or Die, and they were going to squeeze it in right in between afterwards. And March or Die went longer than it went. And I said, I'm already signed to do a picture, so I don't think I can do this movie. And
wild.
I turned down 4 movies. Richard Kiel did them all, made his career. It was good.
That is wild. Yeah, no, you guys definitely.
Rich was a nice guy.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I just didn't want to get stuck into that type of character. You understand?
Yeah. No, I can definitely
the one
resemble.
picture that I wish I hadn't turned down was a spy. With Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Silver Streak.
Silver Streak.
Yes, that's right.
They came to me when I was doing King Kong.
Yeah.
They had a break of 6 weeks because they had to go to New York to shoot the ending, and we weren't finished shooting what we were doing. So I had 6 weeks off, and they went to Warner's, and they made a deal that they would release me to go up to Seattle, Washington, and shoot this film. And I had a choice of sitting at the beach or going up and doing a movie. And I just, and I should have done it. It was a foolish move because it would have locked me into Paramount. They offered me 3 other pictures that I should have, and I would have, anyway, it's just one of them things. You just do what you do,
Amazing. Do you know how many Chuck Norris roles Phil's turned down and Chuck Norris took instead? Phil, right here. Phil.
I wish.
Chuck's a nice kid.
He's pulling your leg.
The picture I did with Chuck was probably one of the best movies he ever did.
That would be what was
Hero
the
and the Terror.
There you go.
Hero
right
and
here.
the Terror.
Right there.
Yeah.
Look at you. Huh? Hero and the Terror. Jack, listen, but before you go, I just want to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
When you were doing King Kong, one of my favorite movies of all time, Jeff Bridges, Jessica Lange. I know there's that scene where you carry Jessica Lange onto the ship. And I mean, she was, in that movie, she was absolutely gorgeous. Did you ever have an affair with her? Did you want to have an affair with her?
Jessica and I became very, very dear friends. And she's such a wonderful, wonderful lady. I mean, Jessica, you knew she was going to be a star the day she walked on the set. And she was 26 years old. She was a ballet dancer. She was married to Baryshnikov.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
De Laurentiis had her locked in to a contract and gave her a set of boobs, and so we became very, very close. And And after King Kong almost ruined her career because they tried to make her too much like Marilyn Monroe, you know.
Right.
And the director was a schmo, so she went and she was doing classes and stuff, and she came to me. We had breakfast one morning in Nate and Al's in Beverly Hills, and she said they offered me a picture with Jack Nicholson, Post Rings twice.
Oh, that was a good one.
Well, do it. What are you worried about?
Yeah.
She said they don't want De Laurentiis, and he has my contract, and he's going to want to produce it. So, and they don't want him involved at all. So I said to her, well, I'll tell you what. You call De Laurentiis up in 2 days and tell him you want to come and see him. And she went down and saw him, and he went and got her file out, and he took her contract out and tore it up and handed it to her and said, I want to wish you all the luck in the world. And if there's anything I can do, just let me know. And please tell your friend I gave this back to you. So she called me on the phone. She said, what did you do? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, yes, you do. She said, I'm free.
Jack,
she did Postman, and her career never turned back.
I remember as a kid trying to sneak Postman Always Rings Twice on HBO, and my parents would watch it because then she and Nicholson had that crazy sex scene.
Oh,
in that
smoked.
movie, right? Yeah, wow. It was like I would hear my parents, and I was like, "What's that? No, go upstairs. Go upstairs." Jack,
Jessie's such a talented lady, and she's such a brilliant. She's a great friend. She's just a nice woman.
Great. Jack, listen, absolute pleasure to have you on. Learned a lot here, especially about the Kennedy assassination. I can't wait to read the book because I love all that stuff, and I'm so enamored with it, and I'm just.
Well, there's so many stories, just like Hoffa.
Yeah, it's great.
He was a dear friend of mine, and I guarantee he's not buried anywhere.
Who, Hoffa?
Yeah, they're never going to find Jimmy Hoffa's grave buried anywhere.
Well, where
he was never buried, and he wasn't cremated.
Where is
that
he
whole
then?
story they did in The Irishman is a total lie. That guy never killed Hoffa, and he never killed Joey Gallo. The guy was from Philadelphia. I knew him well. And he was a driver for Russell Buffalino.
So Jack, what did they do with Hoffa's body? Where is it?
Well, one day I'll tell you when I see you. Jimmy was a super individual. Jimmy was a man's man. Jimmy Hoffa would never ask you to do what he wouldn't do himself.
Right.
And we did a lot of strike things down in the waterfront in Philly together. I liked Jimmy a lot. And and when he went away, he thought he was only going away for a couple months, but he backed the wrong president. Kennedy didn't want him on the street because he controlled so many votes with the Teamsters.
Yeah.
And and I don't know if you remember the day he went away. Every truck, they lined up all the way to Lewisburg, blowing their horns while he drove by.
Yeah.
We were talking to him on the phone from Boston when he was going away, and we said, Jimmy, you really don't have to go to jail. And he said, listen, they think I did the crime. Now, you're talking about a guy who created the pension fund. There was no pension fund before Jimmy Hoffa, okay? They said he stole $8,000 to fix his house. Well, let me tell you what. If Jimmy Hoffa wanted to do some work in his house and get it fixed, contractors would have came and done it for nothing. There would have been no money changed hands or anything. So it was a bogus steal all the way across the board. But he got, he spent more time in jail than he should have. And when he signed the deal to get out, it was a terrible deal that he signed because they said he couldn't touch the union for X amount of time. And he came home and walked right in Fitzsimmons' office and threw him out of his office. He said, this is my desk, my office. Simmons said, man, you're going to get us locked up. He said, get out of my office. And then he got on the telephone. He was talking to somebody in New York. And they had a conversation. And they kept telling him, Jimmy, you're on the phone. Just wait. Everything will get fixed. It'll be taken care of. Well, when you people wanted money for Vegas, was the Teamsters put up $25 million for Caesar's Palace. But they paid every dime of that back. They never took a loan that they didn't pay back.
Wow.
And he got in the final argument with the guy on the phone. And the last thing Hoffa said to him was, I'll go to the newspapers. And the guy hung up. That was the end of Jimmy.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Unfortunately.
Jack, I could listen to you talk all night, my friend. Listen, thank you so much for coming on. I can't
My
wait
pleasure.
to check out the book. Listen, we'll always going to remember you like this as part of our childhood right here. And, you know, listen, they couldn't have got a better guy to do this. And, you know,
It worked well. The film, I thought the film worked. We're getting ready to do another Superman, by the way. I'll let you know.
that,
Oh,
We're going to bring
nice.
Christopher back in a hologram.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the three villains. We got a great storyline.
Can't
What
wait
we're going
to
to
see
do, it's
that.
going to be kind of, it's really going to blow people's minds away.
When that
Can't
movie
wait.
comes out, you come back on with us?
Sure.
All right, Jack
Nice.
O'Halloran. Jack, thank you so much, my friend. Absolute
My
pleasure,
pleasure.
bud. Take care,
Take
my
care,
man.
See you, sir.
Bye-bye. Wow, Philly Kid.
You know,
what a great guy.
I bet you could sit with him for hours and hours.
I could listen to those stories all day.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
our audience was, I mean, everybody was writing in how much they loved the story. Taylor Hughes didn't even want to come on. She said, I just want to sit and listen to these stories.
I mean,
And
how
it was
many
just
guys,
phenomenal.
how many people are going to come on and you get to hear about Jimmy Hoffa and
Listen, I gotta
JFK?
I gotta get a hold of that Fulls of Bruder film. I gotta see the driver reaching back and shooting Kennedy. I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
That's unbelievable.
But hey, but you know, when Trump was president, he claimed he was going to release all those documents.
Yeah. They only released a few of them.
But they shut him down. So
Yeah.
there's stuff out there we need to know.
I mean, when he said the guy turned around and shot him and all the melee, that's insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
Holy cow. All right, anyway,
Crazy.
Philly Kid, listen. Taylor Hughes is here. She's very busy and she's in the green room. I don't want to keep her waiting anymore.
Yes.
She is her voice, Phil, is absolute. It's like angelic. It's angelic. She's been compared to ADELE, for God's sakes, Phil. Those are big shoes to fill.
Yes.
She's a pop country singer. She's got all kinds of things going on. Taylor Hughes, you remember that name. You're going to hear it a lot. Here she is, and then we'll bring her in on the other side. Take a listen.
Like a rush of blood to your head with the first hit of nicotine. Like an 88 Chevy burning up a tank of gasoline. Like a quick fix from a fifth when you're tipping on back. Type of buzz that comes and goes, it don't ever last. But with you, I ain't coming down. No crash and burn, ain't looking for an easy way out. And it ain't a shrug, it ain't a shrug. Whatever it is, it's more than enough. And I don't know much, but I know one thing. You got me high on something.
You got me high on something.
What's up?
Yes.
Taylor, Jack went a little over, so we have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's okay. We'll make it. We'll make it work.
Man, those are some stories. Holy cow.
Oh my gosh, for sure. I was like, this is really interesting. Like,
Yeah. Did you ever see the Superman movies, or is that like way before your time?
I think it's a little bit before my time. I saw like the more recent ones, but
Right. All right. You got to go back and watch the older one.
I know. Well, there's like a ton of movies, like classics that I've never seen. And my husband's like, did you live under a rock? I'm like, clearly, I guess so.
Hey, listen, Taylor. I got to tell you, when just listening to that clip right there, and your voice is just so hauntingly beautiful. It just,
thank you.
When I was listening to your music today, and you hear those songs, and you just get chills, and that's so beautiful. And your voice is so powerful and beautiful. You're one of those people who could sing in an auditorium and not even use a microphone, and everybody could hear your beautiful voice. I mean, how old were you when you first started singing and say, you know what, my voice projects pretty well? When did you start singing?
I've actually been singing since I was like itty bitty in preschool. There's actually some home videos of me like pushing my way to the front of the group so that I can sing.
What were the songs? What were the songs back
were-
then that you were singing?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you. It was just like the little school programs that they had.
Wheels on the Bus go round.
Yeah,
and round?
Wheels on the Bus, or the like. I don't even remember. There's like a Caterpillar song and like.
Yes, the Caterpillar
what
song.
I'm talking about? Yeah.
Wait, hold on, Taylor. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. You know the
Okay.
lyrics to Wheels on the Bus, right?
Yeah.
The wheels on the bus go
round and round.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Give me
What
like
am
15, 20 seconds of that song, but like a dramatic, like, you're in this big hall. Like it's, what, like Sia sings, I want to swing from a chandelier. Give me your most dramatic Wheels on the Bus. Go ahead.
Look what I've done. I've set myself up for failure. Okay.
Go ahead.
No.
Do we want like an opera kind of?
However
thing?
you want to do it. Go ahead.
Let's see. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. Thank you.
Nice.
Yes.
Listen, when you make your children's album, I want a cut of that for giving you the
Oh my
idea.
gosh, right? I have to put all kinds of like, Baba Black Sheep. And
Yeah. Have you any wool? Have you any
Right?
wool? Little rafty action.
Yeah.
That is great. So you started really young, and you knew that's what you wanted to do your whole life. Was that it? Singing?
Yeah, but I knew, but no one else knew until I was probably about 18 years old.
Right.
That's the age when I started to really kind of dive into it a little bit
Right.
more. And I'd asked my parents for guitar lessons, and they were like, "Oh, well, sure, why not?" And I had a few lessons, and my guitar teacher was like, "I'm going to take you to Nashville," and I was like, "To play?" And he's like, "No, to sing." And when we told my parents, they were very confused because they were like, "There's no way she knows how to play guitar. She's had like 2 lessons." And Paul, who's still my guitar teacher today, he's like family. He's like, "No, your daughter sings," and they're like, No, she doesn't. What are you talking about? Because I'd always I was always involved in like school choir and like productions and stuff like that, but I never like had a lead or a solo or anything like that. So it was never really like, oh, this is truly like something she wants to do. Like she has the talent for it. And they brought me down here to Nashville, and I sang for a TV Comcast at the Nashville Palace, which is still here. It's still a great venue.
Yeah.
And, it went really well. It was the first time I'd ever performed, so I was scared out of my mind. But, obviously I did well enough that they kept inviting me back. But I remember we were leaving the venue the first time that I had performed, and everyone was, "Oh, we love Taylor. Please bring her back." And my parents were just kind of smiling and nodding like, "Oh, thanks." And we left, and they were like, "Were you lip singing?" And I was like, "No, no, that was
Were you
me."
lip syncing?
Yeah, which is funny because like my mom was a singer, so like one of her kids was bound to like get that gene, right?
Yeah, really.
So I don't know if my brother can sing. I highly doubt it. I know he can dance, but I got the singing gene. So
let's get him on the show.
That is so funny.
You want to talk about a hoot? Like he's like me times 10. Like he's on a whole nother level.
So when a teacher of yours says she's country music's answer to Adele, and they put that out there in magazine articles and in your biography, is that that's got to be a lot of pressure on you, right, to kind of get up to those standards, Adele?
Yeah, I mean, Adele has always been a huge idol of mine, and I try to draw in a lot of influence from all my idols, Miranda Lambert, Chris Stapleton, Adele. So you always like when you get on stage, you're like, all right, I got to kill this every time. I got to show my chops,
Yeah.
But it's also really flattering, because obviously who doesn't want to be compared to Adele? She's amazing. So.
Yeah, I was listening to some of your songs today, and I got to tell you, your song Praying to the whiskey. Now, as far as whiskey songs go, there's a lot of good whiskey songs out there.
Honey, you ain't worth the
Now
whiskey.
that song is probably, it's, if it's not the best, it's one of the best whiskey songs I've ever heard in my life. It's just so it's just driving and powerful, and I'm a strong woman. It's all of that,
Right?
And yeah,
So much. You know, that was the song that I was a little worried to release. Just because, you know, you don't hear a lot of women singing things like that. But I actually wrote that song with my dad. And so it was a really fun one to release, and it's done really well. It's opened up a lot of doors for me. It's done really well over in Ireland. It was just nominated for
Song of the Year nominated in Ireland.
Yeah. International Song of the Year and made the top 10 this past November. So I guess the Irish like their whiskey, you know?
No, what are you
Right?
insane?
What am I?
The Irish, they don't drink. What's wrong?
Right? Yeah.
Do you want to? You got your guitar with you?
I do.
You want to? You want to play a tad bit, a wee bit?
Do that. I can do that. Do you want like a verse and a chorus? We can do that.
Do you want it? You want to do praying to the whiskey?
Sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
let's hear a little bit of that one.
We'll you know, we'll make Phil happy. Why not?
Yeah.
yes.
Jack, Johnny Crow, those four apostles stay in my soul. That's pretty rough company for a Catholic girl like me to keep. But they're alright by me. My mama would fade if she knew these things. A better time to see. What can I say? God made me this way. Y'all better pray for me. I'm bread in the rosary. Here's ain't enough for me. Baptize me in the brown water. Over ice don't get no hotter. They'll contain my father. I won't quit till I hit the bottom. Sunday morning I'll be on my knees. Tonight you can find me praying to the whiskey.
Nicely
I'm
done.
watching
Nice.
Yes. Sexy song. Girls can be sexy with their whiskey, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. I got chills all over again. I love that song.
Don't forget the tequila. That's not bad either.
Oh, I've got a few tequila songs as well. So.
Nice.
So fun.
Nice.
If you could do a duet with one person who's like a big superstar, who would it be?
I try to act like this is a hard.
Tim McGraw.
No.
Chris
Lambert.
Stapleton.
A
Who?
guy or Miranda Lambert would be.
Miranda Lambert.
Yes. Now, if it was a guy, then absolutely Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Wait, did Chris Stapleton is the one who does Tennessee whiskey, Phil?
Yes.
He does a whiskey song. Yes, he does.
He does all kinds of whiskey songs.
Philly kid, give Taylor a little Tennessee whiskey. Go ahead.
This is all about Taylor today, man.
You sure? You don't have the voice for it tonight?
Hey, I know you sing. I know.
We'll see. Yes, come on, dude. We know.
I did my research. I know what's going on here.
Okay, I'll give you a few seconds.
Come on, man.
Used to spend my nights out in a bar room. Liquor was the only love I've ever known.
Amen. Yes.
But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom, and you brought me back from being too far gone. That's enough. This is
I love it. Yes. Tennessee whiskey. Oh, but
go ahead, Taylor.
Now
Keep
it's your
going.
turn, Scott.
You're as sweet Strawberry wine.
Yes. Look at us. We should all go on the road together.
Yeah, right.
Let's do it.
Oh my God.
So
I'll hold the guitar.
You can be like the tambourine in the back.
Yeah. I'll shake the tambourine in the back. I'll introduce you, and then I'll play the tambourine.
So we're pretty much over the pandemic, and life is fairly back to normal.
Right.
And how bad did that affect you when all that was going on?
Yeah, it was weird for sure, especially being an artist. I was actually releasing my debut single like right as it hit. So all my plans to go on the road and play shows and to promote it were canceled. And I had to figure out new ways to promote it. And at first I was a little freaked out, but then I was like, you know what? That's not how my daddy raised me. I'm going to figure this out. And I started to dive into doing live streams on Facebook and like Instagram stuff, which I'd never done before. And, I'd write almost every day. Occasionally we were drinking bourbon at the house. Our stash started to go down. But, I was still, trying to be as active on social media as possible, doing as many live streams as I could. And it really pushed me out of my comfort zone into a way that I was able to really dive into the songwriting aspect of it, learning the business side of it. And then my following actually grew a lot, which is kind of why I Pray Into the Whiskey and all my other songs are starting to do so well, because I was able to reach the UK and Ireland and Australia. And so it actually turned out to be a real blessing in disguise. I was always on the road, so I was never home. And that's really hard on, a marriage when one of us is a musician and the other is not. So I think that was kind of a way for us to also, in just my personal life, to kind of reconnect. And, we were stuck at home with each other. So we had to, make sure we liked each other. And if we wanted to get in a fight, all we could do was go to a different room.
Yeah, it's amazing when you read how many people split up during COVID because they just couldn't deal.
Yes, my husband and I joke about that all the time. I'm like, we survived COVID, babe. And he's like, high five. Yeah,
we did it, man. We did it.
Well, it's crazy.
Taylor, I heard you. I saw you were doing a couple covers. I saw you doing "Simple Man" by Skinner in one of the videos. What is there one cover that you like, that you love to do more than the others? Like the favorite?
That's actually probably one of my favorites. That one, House of the Rising Sun, and probably Tin Man are probably my three. Like, if I had to pick like my three top favorites.
Yeah.
Songs.
I'll tell you what. Give me a little. Hey, Mr. Tin Man. Give me a little Miranda. Go ahead.
Little Miranda. Do you want me to guitar or just?
No, do it. Just do it a cappella. This way we'll hear you. We'll hear you better.
Hey there, Mr. Tin Man. Let me see. I'm not used to singing it without the guitar.
Then use the guitar then.
Shouldn't spend your whole life wishing for something bound to fall apart. And anytime you're feeling empty, you better thank your lucky stars. 'Cause if you ever felt one breaking, you'll never want a heart. Or something like that.
Nice.
You're I read I was looking at your website, and your singing coach or vocal coach, Katie Hendricks, is that correct?
Yeah.
And she described your voice as rich chocolate with soul.
Yeah.
And I've got to agree with that, and add a few more, like powerful and haunting and just beautiful. So
well, thank you. What was that, Phil?
No, do you still study with her?
I do. I've been with her for a little over a year now. Actually, we're coming on to like our 2-year mark, I think. And she has been just an absolute blessing. She is someone that obviously trains me vocally, but her and I we're really close. We're able to just talk about our personal lives together, and like I'll hop on to like because we do a lot of my lessons through like FaceTime, and I'll hop on, and she doesn't like, I don't even have to say anything. She's like, "What's wrong? Let's vent, let's get it out." And like, we share just stories, and she's helped make me so much more confident in my abilities and has pushed me to be my best. And that's something else I love about her, is that she's not going to beat around the bush, and she's not going to be like, "Oh, that was so good." Like, if I mess up, she calls me out, and she's like, "Whoa, we need to go back, do that again." And sometimes you need that. You need someone to bring you back to earth, and keep you humble. But she's so amazing, and she's helped me with a lot of the strengthening, because I was dealing with some vocal fatigue and stuff like that. So I'm very, very blessed to have her.
Nice. Well, as a vocal coach for you, she is knocking it out of the park. I gotta hand it to her.
I'm like, thank you. I love you. Like,
yeah, but tell her, where can everybody find you and get all this great music?
Yeah, so there are all kinds of places. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Those are Taylor Hughes Music. I do have a TikTok. It's Taylor Hughes Official. I'm on Twitter as well, but you can also find all my socials on my website, which is taylorhughesmusic.com. And then all my socials are like right at the top in the corner. And then if you subscribe to my website, I send out like a monthly newsletter that keeps you up to date. It's got my full touring schedule on there, and it's always up to date, like months and months in advance. And I only send one little email. I won't spam you or anything.
Please join our subscription. Boom.
Yeah, right.
How do I get out? Unsubscribe. Oh, by the way, October 1st, you have a festival you're going to be appearing at, right? A bourbon festival?
Yeah, the only kind of festival to go to. Right?
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so on October 1st, I'm going back to the home state, Frankfort, Kentucky. There's Bourbon on the Banks. It's a huge bourbon festival. It's like an all-day event. All the best, like, big industries and like small, like, treasures, I guess you could call them, and like businesses are going to be there, and they'll have other stuff besides bourbon.
Yeah.
But that's the most important thing. But they'll have sampling all day long, stuff that you can buy, and then the after party is at Goodwood Brewing, and me and my girlfriend Audra McLaughlin are going to be performing there. We're headlining the event, and it's a free after party. It's open to the public. Food, bourbon, music, like who doesn't love that, right?
The bourbon's flowing, Philly kid.
Do you have any bourbon songs yet?
I've got. I think the question is, what songs have I written that don't have
alcohol in it? The wine,
I
the
kind
beer.
of accidentally like coined that as my thing, but like I'm from Lexington, Kentucky, so like bourbon just kind of runs in my blood.
Yeah.
And, I may or may not.
Well, look at you.
There you go.
Don't tell my vocal coach; she'll yell at me.
Now you go straight. You go no ice in the bourbon.
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's a 12-year knob like this, then absolutely neat. You don't want to mess it up.
Wow, look at you, huh?
I was gonna give you an opening line for a song, maybe. My baby loves bourbon. But I can't think of any songs that any words that rhyme with bourbon.
Bourbon's really hard.
Wait, how about my
she
baby
drives a Suburban?
There you go, bro. You're in.
There we go.
You're in. Yes.
All right.
You just got to make sure. Right. You don't insinuate she's drinking the bourbon while she's in the Suburban.
Driving the Suburban. Yes. Okay.
She really gets her swerving. Wow. See, I'm a tequila guy. I like tequila with ice.
What tequila do you like?
Right now I'm in the Casamigos Reposado phase.
Yes, I love Reposado. Yeah.
But I think like all the Reposados, I could, whether you throw an orange in there with some ice.
Yeah. Oh man, have you had? I can't remember what it's called, but I buy it whenever we go to the lake or anything like that, or during the summer. The rocks.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus! That's something Terrapada, Tesada.
Yeah, I can't ever remember, but his Reposado is really good.
Yeah, his is good. What the
That's
hell?
what I drink when we're on the lake and everyone else is drinking beer. I'm like, No.
Yeah. All that
I brought the
Casamigos.
bottle of tequila.
Yeah, like the Don Julio, and I love the bottles. They're so cool too, right? All the bottles are cool.
We got a few bottles of the Casamigos for my wedding, and everyone drank them like a few nights before, and my dad was like, "That was for the wedding." And we were like,
God, they're making a fortune. Those people, a fortune.
For sure.
Unreal. Do you want to do one more before we go? You got one more in you? A little guitar action? You pick it. You pick whatever you like.
Okay. Do you want just a little bit, or do you want a full song, or what are you thinking?
Give us. I don't want to make you do a full. Give us half a song.
Okay. Half a song. All right. So we'll do like a verse and a chorus, like we did for Praying to the Whiskey. Would it be cool if I played an original?
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is one that I wrote with a girlfriend of mine. She's actually been on your show, Crystal King.
Oh, Crystal. We love Crystal.
Yeah, I was just with her earlier today writing.
Oh, that's so funny.
She's a great girlfriend of mine. We've become really close. But we wrote this song, and it's probably one of my favorites I've written since we moved, or since I moved to Nashville here like 5 years ago. So
okay.
But it's called Jesus in Jail. So we'll give you a little taste.
Nice. I love the Jesus songs. Go ahead.
Hey. Rolling into that church, feel like a cloud of smoke. I was down on Sam night doing God only knows. Never even made it home, wearing last night's hair and a second coat of that carbon black mascara. Lord bless my soul. I'm guilty as charged. Never claimed to be the same, but my heart's a little lost. So I came here today to bow my head, take a cross, sending up my one phone call. Hope the Lord will pay my bill. Come and say I'm somewhere between Jesus and jail.
Nice. Hey, listen, I'm going to add another adjective to all the words to describe you, and badass comes to mind. So
Yeah.
nice. Nice. I love that.
Taylor, do you ever do any of the places on over on Broadway, like Kid Rocks or any of those?
I don't typically. I try to stay away from them just because they work the artist like
I know, man. It's
really
crazy.
hard.
Hours.
I do it occasionally, like sometimes, like during an SEC tournament, when all the big Blue Nation fans come down here. I play at Tin Roof because that's just like a hub for all the UK fans, and I play with a few bands there. I do play at like Margaritaville sometimes, and whatnot, but usually a lot of the times I'm on the road. I travel a lot, so it's rare that I'm actually here.
You're not even in town.
Right.
Taylor Hughes. Taylor, tell everybody one more time where they could find you.
Yeah, so I'm on all the socials, but if you all go to my website, the easiest place is taylorhughesmusic.com. All of my socials, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz is on there. And then subscribe as well.
I love it. I love it. Taylor, listen, thank you so much. Come back again, all right? We'd love to have you on.
Absolutely.
This show, we got a lot of things happening with the show. We'll be in a studio eventually on, a bunch of TV stations, and, everybody who was on, you guys are all going to come back and,
for sure.
Do it in the studio live.
Together.
We're going to drink. Absolutely.
Yes. We'll take some shots of bourbon and tequila.
Little tequila. We'll be singing up a storm.
Yes.
We'll be like, the wheels on the bus go round.
Yes.
Taylor, thank you so much. Enjoy. Have a great fall.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the festival. And definitely, when new music coming around, you come back on, okay?
Gotcha. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Take
See
care.
you, Taylor.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Philly, talented or what do you think?
talented, beautiful, powerful voice,
Yeah, really
badass. I
good.
mean, she's the whole package, man. She's
no,
awesome. She's gonna go far.
I could hear the Adele in her voice a little bit. She really is fantastic. Fantastic. You just get that one break and you're off and running, my friend.
Yeah. And
look at you. What were you? All of a sudden, you didn't want to do Tennessee whiskey? You? I was like, what?
No, I just I was gonna give her props. I was gonna let her do it.
Yeah, man. Listen, women love to hear you sing on the show. You know that. Do you you got one in you before we go, or you're just like, I gotta get? I'm too tired.
No. I got a message. It was Terry Hetrick's birthday a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't get to sing to her because I was gone.
Nice.
So I'm gonna sing a little something for her.
There you go. Light it up, baby. We'll finish it off big for Cherry Hetrick's birthday.
So I sing you to sleep after the loving with a song that I just wrote yesterday. And I hope you can hear what the words and the music have to say. It's so hard to explain everything that I'm feeling face to face. I just seem to go dry, but I love you so much that the sound of your voice can get me high. Thanks for taking me on a one-way trip to the sun. And thanks for turning me into someone.
Come on, Philly kid.
So I sing you to sleep after the loving. I brush back the hair from your eyes and the love on your face. It's so real that it makes me want to cry. And I know that my song isn't saying anything new. Oh, but after the loving, I'm still in love with you.
Didn't we did that on a duet, didn't we?
I think
Little
we did.
Engelbert. So I sing you to sleep after the loving. Da da do da da do da da dee. Philly kid, I think we'll be back tomorrow night.
We'll be here.
We got a couple guests coming on. Great musical guest, great regular guest. You and I will be here, and great show tonight. Great show. Listen, boy,
awesome.
I'm still amazed. I'm still thinking about Jack. Jack blew me away with all that stuff.
Yeah, I could sit and listen to that guy for hours.
I mean, listen, that's one man telling you his point of view, or is it really things that he knows from the inside? I don't know. He sounded pretty sure, Phil.
Yeah, he sounded like he had an inside scoop. So,
Right.
Hey, I tell you this: I'm not going to say anything different. I'm not going to. I would never call the man a liar.
So for Jack emailed us. He said he had a great time. Thanks so much for having him on. Man, I opened up that Pandora's box with the assassination of Kennedy. I was like, oh boy, that was like a half an hour. Like, all right,
Good stuff. Good
no
stuff.
Time, no time for Superman. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night. Love you guys. And Philly Kid, awesome job as usual.
Yep.
And we'll leave you with the little studio action on the way out. Philly Kid, I'll see you tomorrow, my man.
See you, buddy.
Suki and Scott Show, we are feeling good today.
Multi-Emmy Award-winning co-hosts Sukanya Krishnan and Scott Stanford captivate viewers with their infectious personalities.
What you gonna do today?
and unmatched chemistry.
Irish accent.
Suki, this is a Belgian accent. Don't you know your Belgian accent?
I do not.
Suki and Scott are hanging out with celebrities.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
You guys are talented amongst your own selves.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
We'll be right back.
Elite comedians.
Suki and Scott and Wayne. Got a big heart, Scott.
And entertainers from all four corners of the world. Suki and Scott share moments that make you think.
I just ate 2 grapefruits, and nothing sexual about what happened here, I gotta tell you.
Uplifting stories that inspire.
No matter how hard life gets or what you go through, you can always make it through.
And they'll make you smile.
I'm Mike Wallace.
Now, more than ever, the world needs laughter.
Just slip out the back, Jack.
Suki and Scott are ready.
Okay, this one.
Let's laugh together. The Suki and Scott Show.